it's time to mow the yard again, but I found a couple of people who are interested in coming over and picking up these walnuts. I was going to give them the opportunity to do that before I break out the mower and chop these things all up. Well, they're here already. Let me introduce myself to them and show them around the homestead real quick. That way they can get started on picking them walnuts up, and I can get started on my project as well. So today I'd like to make a new hog trough slash feeder out of a 55-gallon barrel. I found one on Marketplace I picked up for about $20. I think it'll do. I'm going to have to bust down one of these pallets to get some 2x4s, and then we'll get started on it. It won't take me but a few minutes to bust this pallet down, so let me grab my block of wood and hammer and I'll get after it. This is a pretty good way of busting down a pallet, but a better way is to have somebody else do it for you. So I'll finish this up and I'll check back in with you. All right. Let me gather up these 2x4s in that 55-gallon barrel, and we'll get to work. Well, they made quick work out of that. They had them fancy walnut basket picker uppers. I know when I used to do it, I'd be down on my hands and knees for hours picking up walnuts. That ain't very much fun. Let's take a quick look at my existing hog trough. It's just a 55-gallon barrel cut in half. I've drilled some drainage holes in the bottom of it, so it does get rained on or snowed on. The pigs tend to stand in it, sleep in it, whatever else in it. But this one pig here with the black spot, he's probably 25-30 pounds bigger than the other two. He gets a little bit aggressive whenever I throw the feed in there, or the slop in there. He starts pushing them around because they're standing shoulder to shoulder. They're climbing over each other to get in there. So what I plan on doing is taking that my new barrel and cutting 3 holes in the side of it. I plan on laying this thing down horizontally on the ground, and hopefully they can stick their head in there to eat. They might be able to crawl in there at this time, but as they get larger, they won't be able to get through that hole that I've cut for them to stick their head in there. I believe I've gathered up everything I need for this little hog feeder. Now last week when I was at the War Eagle Craft Fair, I drove by this one house who
had a sign up saying he had pigs for sale. I don't need any more pigs right now, but curiosity got the best of me, so I pulled over and took a look at what he had. He had some full blood Berkshires, which too pricey for me, but I'm sure they'll make some good eating. What I did notice is that he had a 3-hole hog feeder made out of a 55-gallon drum like this. So this is not my idea. It's actually his idea. I'm just going to try to improve up on it a little bit. There's a line right here on this barrel. I don't know if that's where it was joined together or not, but I'm going to use that as a straight edge and measure off of that to create the opening in the center piece. After I cut that piece out, I'll use it for a template on either side. So I'm just going to start by tracing out an opening. I'm going to measure down about 13 inches from that line. Thirteen's always been a lucky number for me. This don't have to be perfect. I'm going to leave a little bit of space between the openings to give the barrel a little bit of support. I'm also going to use this spray can to form some radius corners on this. That way maybe as the hogs are sticking their heads in and out of this, they're less likely to get scraped up. Right, I got one opening in the center for the hog to stick his head through. I'm going to use this piece I cut out, like I said, as a template. I'll trace it out. After I do that, I'll cut them and I'll catch back up with you. So this is going to be sitting on its side. I'm going to take some of those 2x4s from the pallets I busted down. I'm going to set this on some skids and try to attach it to the skids so hogs don't move it around. That hog's nose is a tool. That's made for digging and pushing. So you can bet money he's going to be hitting under here lifting this thing up. So I got to try to secure it to the ground so he don't move it around. These ribs in between here will give a little bit of support to the barrel. The idea is that this will keep some of the rainwater from going in it. I will take me a big cutout bit and cut a hole down here in the corner so if any liquid gets in there it'll run out, plus I can wash it out and it'll drain over there. But I'm hoping that these pigs got their heads in here, they're not going to be as likely to be fighting around over that food. Maybe they'll just be in here slapping heads. I don't know. We'll put it to the test and see how it works out. Let me grab some of that wood and we'll continue on. So my idea is to set this barrel horizontally on these 2x4s. Something like this. What I want to do is take my saw, cut out some of this material to the same radius as that barrel, so when it sits on it, the wood will cradle it. Then I'll attach it from the inside into the wood. Fresh out of pencils. I'll be right back. Alright, found my pencil. I don't know if you call this a carpenter's pencil or what, but it's flat and narrow. You can sharpen it on both sides. Have any idea why you can do that? If you do, leave me a comment down below. If you don't have an idea, ask Mr. Google Pants. I don't want to remove so much material that, like I've drawn here, there's only about ½ an inch left at the bottom. That's going to be really weak and break. So I'll just move my line in about an inch and cut it out. There we go, much better. I'll do this to 2 of the 2x4s, then we'll try to attach them to the barrel. I'm gonna have to find a flat place in the yard to do that because I don't think it's gonna work here on the side of this hill. Maybe that gives you a better idea. This piece I cut out should fit the contour of the barrel. I'll do it to both of them and I'll lay the barrel horizontally on them. Alright, there's the 2 pieces of wood that's going to support that barrel. Now this morning before I went to work, I pulled the old cast iron skillet off the wall and heated up some lard in it real nice and hot. I had some deer steaks I'd thawed out overnight, so I cut those up into smaller pieces and browned them real good. Pulled the crock pot out from underneath the cabinet. Threw the deer chunks in there along with some carrots and celery and onions and potatoes. Covered it up with beef broth and turned that slow cooker on low. That venison stew ought to be about ready to eat any time now, so I need to hurry up this project so I can get in the house and eat. I'm going to try to assemble this Hog Trough feeder on top of my workbench. You might call it a stack of pallets, but I call it a portable workbench. I went ahead and grabbed some carriage bolts. I'm going to use these to attach the barrel to these wooden 2x4s and skids. Then how the carriage bolt has a rounded head. Pig won't be able to get a hold of that with his mouth or cut himself or anything like that. So I'm probably going to put 2 on each side of this barrel. I'm going to go ahead and drill some holes for these carriage bolts. That way I can get the barrel attached to the 2x4s. And then I'm going to work on some sort of a lid on top. That way I'll be able to drop the slop or the feed, whatever they're going to eat, down from the top. I've rotated this barrel in a position to where the bottom of the cutout is actually farther back this direction than the top of the cutout. My hopes is any rainwater that comes running down here will drip straight down and avoid going inside the hog trough. I'm not trying to make this completely watertight, but I don't want the feed or slop, whatever's in there, to get totally soaked either. The barrel is firmly attached to the 2x4s, but it still wants to rack back and forth a little bit. So what I'm going to do is cut this 2x4, place it between the 2 skids here, just to strengthen it up a little bit, keep it from racking. While I'm at it, I'll probably go ahead and see if I can't locate another 2x4 and put one on the other end. I'm already thinking this might be a bad idea. I'll explain what I'm thinking here in a minute. So on this side of the barrel, I want to mount this 2x4 right up underneath the edge of the barrel. So it's going to give it some more support to keep it from racking, but I think it's also going to give the place the pigs to stick that nose of theirs. They're going to be able to lift up on it even more. Let me grab some screws and we'll get it attached. Now that I have a 2x4 attached on either side of these barrels, I'm going to try to move it down to the ground where I can work on the lid. Got to grab some more tools. I'm going to use this scrap piece of wood as a straight edge. On this direction, I can just use the the ribs on the barrel as a line. After I finish cutting this out, I'll put some hinges on it and I'll catch back up with you. I might want to go ahead and say at this point that the barrel is going to be the only thing inside the pen. The fence is going to be running right here where I'm standing, and the idea is to open up the lid, reach over the fence, and pour the feed in. That way I don't ever have to get in there unless I want to clean it out or something. Let me tighten up these last two bolts, and then I'll bring you in a little bit closer to take a look at what I've done. All right, let me grab the camera, take a closer look. So this lid is so small, I only need one hinge. I had to go ahead and stick this extra little tab in here and screw it on. That way when the door shuts, the door don't fall through and go all the way to the inside. And that's that. You might have noticed there's nothing to grab a hold of here, so I think I'm gonna have to build me a handle to put on there. All right, so as you see, I used a nut and a bolt to form a handle. Works good. Take one more look around. It's getting late. I need to eat. I'm not going to be able to finish this project up tonight because I want to take a file or something and smooth down these edges on all the openings. That way the hogs don't have any chance of getting cut on them. Then I'll mount it through the fence. The next time you guys see this hog trough, hopefully the pigs will be eating out of it. Well, I hope this may have given you a few ideas on what you might want to do when you're in need of a new hog trough or slop feeder. And as always, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to watch my videos. I'll catch y'all next time here at the Homestead. Y'all have a good night.